Another round of winter weather hitting the region. Fox 45 News is tracking the system as it moves through and the impacts it could have this weekend as the Ravens gear up for their playoff matchup.
Here in Fells Point, people digging out and bars and restaurants gearing up for the big game.
After a years-long snow drought, kids in the county are making up for lost time. Here at Rogers Forge, we are bringing you a live look at these stellar sledding conditions.
Live from WBFF in Baltimore, this is Fox 45 News at 4.
Good afternoon, everybody. Fox 45 is on weather alert as we see our second big snowfall of the year. This is a live look across the area. Some snow is still coming down, with some areas seeing up to 6 inches. This system has prompted a winter storm warning through 10 o'clock tonight. Thank you for joining us. I'm Kai Jackson.
And I'm Mackenzie Frost. As this storm wraps up this evening, we are tracking a blustery start to the weekend with strong wind gusts and wind chills in the teens tomorrow, just in time for the Ravens playoff game. Baltimore City will be under a code blue extreme cold alert through Monday morning. The city health department is reminding people to drink plenty of fluids and remember to check on those who are most vulnerable, like children and the elderly. And if it's too cold for you to be outside, it's also too cold for your pets. Remember to bring them inside.
Fox 45 News has extensive live team coverage tonight. Our team of reporters weathering the conditions, pun intended, to bring you the very latest across the region. Let's begin with meteorologist Jasmine Lomax with a look at when this system will move out and what we can expect for the big football game this weekend. Jasmine?
Thanks, Mackenzie and Kai. Cold weather, that's going to be the big story once the snow clears, but we still have a few more hours as we deal with snow showers continuing to move across the state. Notice most of us are covered in blue, dealing with some light flurries, but we do have these darker bands, these snow streamers that are moving across parts of the state. These could impact the Baltimore area this evening and into the night. And with these snow streamers, we're seeing some quick, heavy snowfall and also reduced visibility. So you may be driving, the roads aren't terrible. Those main roads aren't terrible, but the snow streamers could quickly change those conditions, leading to heavy snow and reduced visibility. So over the next few hours, you really want to make sure that you are driving safely if you will be on the roads. We still have a winter storm warning in place for all of the spots in pink. For the Baltimore area, this expires around 10 p.m. and we're looking at a winter weather advisory for areas in purple. That expires at 7 p.m. So again, make sure that you are staying weather alert. In terms of snowfall totals, we've seen the highest around our area in Elk Ridge, 5 inches, and then at BWI Airport, just over 4 inches. But when we combine that with the
The flakes started coming down in shorts and a t-shirt on our back porch going, I've missed this.
Finally, a proper snow day.
You made it, finally. I kind of felt sad because there wasn't enough snow to sled.
I think it was 2 years ago.
It's been so long, he's 10. I could not bring him inside to eat.
A years-long snow day drought sending Baltimore County sledders out in droves. Some in packs, others with a sole purpose.
I prefer snowboarding because it's more like thrilling.
The need for speed.
It was amazing.
Just for this week, how many hours have you been out this week? 19 hours and 7 minutes, this child. I swear he has slept and eaten.
Making up for lost time, there's not a moment to waste.
What worries me sometimes is when they say, oh, we're going to go virtual if we have too many snow days. I'm like, this? You're going to take this away?
But not to worry.
You're never cold, are you?
This year,
there's something that's really important about that rite of passage.
These core childhood memories not slipping away.
He has been deprived, and he was like, I'm not stopping. It may never happen again.
And this is the hill right by Dumbarton Middle School. You can see kids having lots of fun, dozens of them. Hey, say hi to Fox 45. We're live, everyone. You guys having fun today, yes or no? Yeah. It's very popular sledding hill. There's dozens of kids out here. We're told they've been here since like 9 in the morning, and some of them telling us they're going to be here all night long. Back to you guys.
Blast. And if you went sledding today, built a snowman, or had a snowball fight, we want to see it. Scan the QR code right there on your screen. It'll take you to foxbaltimore.com where you can upload your photos and your videos, and it's all powered by Stackla.
Wake up tomorrow morning with Fox 45 Morning News as we track the freezing weather. Meteorologist Amy Aronson has your full forecast starting at 7 a.m.
And anytime snow hits, you can have up-to-the-minute forecast right at your fingertips. Download the Fox 45 Weather Authority app. Just search WBFF in your app store to get started. As pressure mounts to make changes to curb juvenile crime in Maryland, the Legislative Black Caucus says it will defend the current juvenile justice laws. Tonight, we're pressing Governor Wes Moore to find out if he will push for any more changes.
The Legislative Black Caucus of Maryland is pleased to present its 2024 priority agenda.
The Legislative Black Caucus standing by Maryland's juvenile justice laws, especially the Interrogation Act.
We believe that legislation is a critical bill, and we will defend that legislation this session.
State Senator Jill Carter, a Democrat from Baltimore City, is also one of the architects of the juvenile justice reform in Maryland, and she remains adamantly against making significant changes to the Interrogation Act.
I'll listen to the arguments, but I don't think that there's any need to have them in person.
But we've heard from several states' attorneys in Maryland saying the laws are hindering public safety efforts.
What we're realizing when we talk to the young people is that young people, the juveniles, know there's nothing that we can do.
We can't charge them. I mean, essentially, if they are found to have committed the crime, the police just have to drive them home. I mean, that's really all we can do.
Juvenile crime continues to dominate the conversation in the General Assembly. Lawmakers raising constitutional concerns if current interrogation laws are changed.
The Legislative Black Caucus last year in the Maryland General Assembly passed really important foundational legislation to make sure that children in our communities are not interrogated without their constitutional rights of being able to ensure that they have access to an attorney.
Well, prosecutors push back on that notion.
Our youth deserve extra protections. I'm not against giving them extra protections, but we have to act in ways that promote the public safety consistent with those extra protections.
But what lawmakers will do to find a solution remains elusive.
Public safety is our administration's top priority.
Governor Wes Moore rolling out his crime strategy before lawmakers started session.
We've announced an all-of-the-above approach to public safety,
but did not include specific juvenile crime plans in that package. When asked what he wants to see, the governor short on specifics.
A hallmark of what I hope to see in any juvenile justice legislation that's going to make it to my desk can be summarized in one word: accountability.
But did indicate one area of support.
We need to think seriously about lengthening probation for juveniles guilty of gun crimes.
Friday, after the comments from the Legislative Black Caucus,
this Black Caucus will protect our recent policies and laws related to the juvenile justice.
We sent questions to Governor Moore's office asking, does he believe there needs to be changes made to the Interrogation Act? Does he still believe the length of probation should be extended? Does he support the Legislative Black Caucus while it says it will defend the current juvenile justice laws? The governor's team not directly answering the questions, instead saying, quote, Governor Moore is committed to working with the General Assembly to carefully review and address the state's juvenile justice laws. Meanwhile, the pressure continues to build for lawmakers in Annapolis to do something about juvenile crime as prosecutors ring the alarm about what's at stake.
We can only hope that they'll not listen to just folks like me or my 23 colleagues across the state or the chief prosecutors in their counties, but hopefully they'll listen to their citizens, because their citizens are saying the exact same thing. Enough's enough.
Urging lawmakers that this session is critical.
We can't wait forever because this is too big an issue that needs to be fixed.
Everybody is saying we must do something. And right now, the legislature, We're looking at you because you have the power to do something to make this right.
And that brings us to our question of the day. Should the Legislative Black Caucus push for juvenile justice reform? To make your voice heard, head to foxbaltimore.com/vote.
And still ahead, our weather alert coverage continues as we see our second major snowfall of the year. We break down the conditions hour by hour.
And we are so close to playoff football in Baltimore. Just one more sleep until the Ravens take on the Texans in the divisional round. What players are saying ahead of the big game. It's coming up next.
Taking a live look at M&T Bank Stadium tonight, anticipation is building as the Ravens gear up for their playoff matchup against the Houston Texans tomorrow right here in Baltimore. If you are heading out to the game, you better bundle up because it is going to be very, very cold. We have team coverage tonight getting you prepared to cheer on the Ravens. Meteorologist Jasmine Lomax is breaking down the game day forecast, letting you know what conditions you should be prepared for if you are heading out to M&T Bank Stadium. Fox 45's Vincent Hill is in our Len Stoller mobile track monitoring current road conditions ahead of the game. But let's begin with Rocco DeSangro. He joins us live here in studio previewing tomorrow's big matchup.
Yeah, guys, if you haven't seen the Ravens official hype video that they posted, do yourselves a favor, watch it, and then you're going to want to find a brick wall to run through. I'm telling you that. M&T Bank Stadium will be rocking when the Ravens host the Texans, their first playoff game they've hosted since 2019. That was the last time this team had the #1 seed. Of course, this year's team looking for a much different result. Lamar Jackson talked about how antsy he was on Monday. So can you imagine how he feels today? The Ravens held a Friday walkthrough, close to media, dotting their I's and crossing their T's ahead of the divisional round showdown with the Texans. John Harbaugh confident in his guys.
They've been like they've been all season. It hasn't really been different. They've, it's definitely playoff football. They're definitely excited about that. But that's how they've approached their work all year.
Got 2 games to get to the Super Bowl. We're looking forward to it. Next was the biggest of the season. They don't do them to get bigger from here, and we need to win. We're at home. Yeah, I'm ready to play. That's all it is. Just not overly anxious, just cool, calm, collected, just ready to go out there, just do what we've been doing all year.
I feel good. I feel very confident in the work we put in, and making sure everyone was still on top of their game, making sure they're in good form, and we didn't waste this week at all.
Mark Andrews was listed as questionable for Saturday's game. The Ravens did not activate him from injured reserve for the divisional round. If the Ravens win, there is a good chance for a return, but one game at a time for this team.
We are weather alert as we deal with snow continuing to move across our state, leading to accumulations. A lot of the snow is on the lighter side, but you can see those dark blue bands, those snow streamers. That's where we're seeing some quick and heavy snowfall. Also low visibility there. Now there's the chance that some of those snow streamers could impact the Baltimore Metro. You really want to make sure that you're staying safe on the roads and be sure to check the radar before you head out if you have to drive, because with those snow streamers, we could quickly see conditions on the roads change. There could be some blowing snow, some heavy snowfall, and reduced visibility. Our winter storm warning remains in place through 10 p.m. A couple areas farther south have been dropped from that winter weather advisory, but around Anne Arundel County and all of the areas in purple, the winter weather advisory expires at 7 p.m. and that's when we'll start to see some of that snow taper. So currently we're at 31. It's a little bit breezy right now, and around the state, temperatures mainly in the upper 20s and the low 30s. These numbers higher than what they're going to be tomorrow as we prepare for bitter cold temperatures following the snow. First tonight, after the snow tapers, our temperatures will drop to the teens. Wind chills will be in the single digits. And with those cold temperatures, there is the possibility for a refreeze, and that's mainly going to be on untreated surfaces, also where we have standing water or slush. And we're also looking at bridges and overpasses. We could see some freeze along those spots. So make sure again that you're driving safely tonight and tomorrow. Breaking down the timing, after midnight, we're talking mostly dry conditions around the state. We'll wake up tomorrow morning to plenty of sunshine, but the clouds quickly move in by the afternoon. The clouds are going to limit some of that daytime heating, so you can really expect a bitter day tomorrow with wind chills staying in the upper single digits, possibly feeling like 10, even 11 degrees, but it is going to be very cold. If you'll be going to the Ravens game, make sure that you have all of the layers. As we continue into Sunday, we'll start off with dry weather. Temperatures will be a little bit higher. The bigger warm up, though, comes for the work week. 18 for the low temperature tonight. Then as we continue into the day tomorrow, we're looking at 26. It'll be bitter with those low wind chills and breezy conditions. This is followed by 34 on Sunday, then 38 on Monday, and finally a little closer to average on Tuesday, 44. After that, 46 on Wednesday, and that begins a rainy pattern. We'll have more rain as we finish out the work week with temperatures returning to the 50s. Back to you.
All right, Jasmine, thanks. Taking a live look at our traffic cameras across the region, roadways are mostly clear at this hour, but the dropping temperatures overnight could cause some major freezing concerns in areas. Fox 45's Vincent Hill is live on our Len Stoller mobile track tonight. Vince, how are the conditions where you are right now?
Yeah, Mackenzie, as this sign says right here, icy roads possible, use caution. I'm on 695 eastbound, and you can see the traffic up ahead is pretty much at a slow pace because everyone is worried about that ice. Of course, Jasmine mentioned the lows tonight in the teens. Of course, we're in the 30s right now, just at the freezing mark. So drivers are worried about the conditions here. We were on some back roads earlier. Those are pretty much covered in snow, several inches on the back roads. So if you have to avoid the back roads, do that for sure. But here on the interstate, we can see some salt and some sand here that Maryland Department of Transportation laid out earlier. But again, with the slick conditions already, as this freezes over, it could be very, very dangerous. And checking the cameras right now, no reports of any major accidents, but of course we'll be keeping an eye out for that and bring it to you live and on air. I'll send it back to you guys.
I'm Atrell Nashar in Washington, where President Biden concedes airstrikes against the Houthis are not deterring their attacks. Coming up, what the terror group says are their new targets.
Turning to the Red Sea, where Iran-backed Houthis in Yemen continue to disrupt the critical shipping route in response to Israel's offensive in Gaza. National correspondent Atra Al-Nashar reports on what this means for a bigger conflict in the Middle East.
The leader of the Houthis aiming provocative words at the U.S. and its allies. In a televised speech Thursday, Abdel Malik al-Houthi says it is a great blessing and honor to be in direct confrontation with the U.S.
The issue that America and Britain have joined the war directly and that we are now in direct confrontation with the Americans, British, and Israelis does not scare us at all.
The newly redesignated terror group has been carrying out attacks against commercial ships in the Red Sea in retaliation for Israel's offensive in Gaza, where the death toll is nearing 25,000, according to the health ministry under the Hamas-run government. Last week, the U.S. led airstrikes with the U.K. on Houthi targets in Yemen. President Biden now concedes this.
Are the airstrikes in Yemen working?
Well, when you say working, are they stopping the Houthis? No. Are they going to continue? Yes.
The Houthis say they now view American and British interests in the region as targets. Back in Washington, debate about how to put an end to Houthi aggression.
They need to know they're going to be paying a price for trying to diminish the ability to have commercial shipping.
With the Houthis insisting they cannot be deterred, fears of a bigger war in the Middle East breaking out are only getting worse. Founder and president of Eurasia Group Ian Bremmer says it's impossible that the war stay only in Gaza.
There are too many avenues for escalation. The Americans are unable to deter the Houthis from further attacks in the Red Sea. The Americans also cannot deter Netanyahu and the war cabinet in Israel from continued attacks in Gaza.
An escalating crisis with more players and no end in sight, 3.5 months after Hamas's October 7th attacks. On Capitol Hill, I'm Atra Al-Nashar reporting.
A battle over how LGBTQ issues should be treated in private schools. Why a conference for educators has some parents on edge. Plus, the snow is moving out, but we are still tracking blustery conditions tomorrow. Our Weather Authority team is breaking down the forecast hour by hour.
FOX45 is tracking severe winter weather across the area tonight. Some light snow is falling at the Inner Harbor and around Towson. Meantime, we're tracking a storm that's headed our way and conditions on the Beltway.
Fox 45 has extensive team coverage on the storms with crews in Baltimore, Rogers Forge, Carroll County, and on the roads and our Len Stoller mobile track. We also have Jasmine Lomax with snow totals and what comes next. Let's start with our team coverage with Vincent Hill and our Len Stoller mobile track out on the roads. Vince, does it look any better?
Well, Mackenzie, the answer is no. You can see the traffic here on 695 eastbound heading to 83 north is pretty much at a standstill right now. I think people are concerned of the slick conditions. Again, the temperatures are right at freezing right now, and there's been several warnings of potential ice on the roadways, so people are definitely concerned about that. We are headed towards Baltimore County right now, and we're going to check conditions there as we get closer to the county. And of course, we'll keep you updated with anything on air and online as we see it. For now, I'll send it back to you guys.
All right, Vince, thanks. Be sure to stay safe out there on the roads for us. And viewers have been sending us photos of the winter road conditions in their communities. But first, let's go to Jasmine Lomax with more on the weather.
Thanks, Mackenzie. We are seeing some snow start to taper as we look farther west. Not too much happening there, and that's a good sign that things are going to end a little bit later on tonight, but we're still keeping track of some of these heavy bands of snow right now. Seeing a band over I-70, and with those heavy bands, we're looking at heavy snowfall and reduced visibility. So if you will be driving, make sure that you're driving safely and be prepared. These heavy bands could continue to move into the Baltimore metro, leading to hazardous road conditions throughout the afternoon and into the evening and night. So again, you really want to make sure that you are driving safely. Now, the snow does taper tonight, but after we're done with the snow, still dealing with the cold, and in fact, it gets even worse. Now, today we've had Arctic high pressure sort of lead to some cold temperatures, but we really feel the impacts of that Arctic high pressure tomorrow. We are talking temperatures around 20 to 40 degrees below average across many parts of the region, and that means a bitter day, especially for anyone heading to the Ravens game. Coming up, we'll have a closer look at the timing of the snowfall and just how cold it will feel this weekend and my Weather Authority forecast. Kind Mackenzie.
Jasmine, thank you. Well, heading to Carroll County, crews have been working hard to keep those roads clear since early this morning.
Yeah, Fox 45's Jessica Babb is live in Westminster showing us the conditions there.
Overall, things are looking pretty good here in Carroll County. I mean, just take a look at some of these neighborhood roadways. They're cleared, and that's because crews have been working since 2 a.m. this morning. You can even see some people are out and about shoveling their front lawns and doing some work, trying to clear some of this snow. But again, going back to Public Works, they've been salting and they have been plowing these roads, trying to make sure they are safe so people can enjoy their snow day. From sacking,
it's snow football time,
to sledding.
So I figured why not take them out and have a good day today, because you don't get snow like this often in Maryland.
But not everyone gets a day off.
Oh, slippery. Not everyone. It's always a work in progress here.
At Cow Creek Farm in Carroll County.
Lots of bundling, lots of breaking waters. This is probably needs lots of the same thing, just checking on everybody. Keeping the cattle have their own fur and stuff, so they're always warm, but in the barn, especially when we have the babies, the goats and stuff, just making sure that they're warm too. And then if we were to lose power, stuff freezes, then it gets a lot difficult.
The work continues even in this winter weather.
My dad and my husband, they all plow, so us girls are kind of stuck doing the farm chores. I do like the snow. We do sled here and there, so I like a good little snow day, but not too much.
So we've seen a lot of people out here today enjoying their snow day, especially since schools with Carroll County Public Schools have been closed today. But looking ahead into tomorrow, Carroll County Public Schools says all school-sanctioned activities or even activities that are going to be happening at their school facilities have also been canceled. Jessica Babb, Fox 45 News.
Jessica, thanks. Whether it's sledding, building a snowman, or going to the Ravens game, frostbite is a threat for anyone trying to enjoy the winter weather. This morning, we spoke with a local doctor about the warning signs and what you can do to stop it.
The two things to look out for are discoloration and pain. As you move from mild to severe frostbite, you start off with kind of reddish skin. It becomes pale and waxy as the frostbite progresses, and then it can become blackened or purple. The most commonly exposed areas are the ones that get frostbite. So your earlobes, your cheeks, nose, chin, fingers, and toes. So hats all the way that cover the ears. Mittens are better than gloves, and then water resistant and warm boots, socks, layers of clothing.
I'm definitely a mitten gal over gloves. But if you do get frostbite, the key is to catch it early. Warm water baths can help the skin heal in less severe cases.
Well, with the snow on the road, highway officials are warning drivers to stay safe.
Yeah, we're joined now by Shante Felix from the Maryland State Highway Administration. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Shante, when we get snow events like these, what do drivers do to avoid accidents? What's your recommendation?
One thing we mainly recommend is people to just stay home if they can, stay out the way, and let our crews clear the roads for them. But if they do have to go out, drive slower than usual. We always remind people that the posted speed limits are for ideal weather conditions. Today we have about 2,200 vehicles on the road, our roadway equipment on the road. So if you encounter our equipment on the road, be sure to stay far enough behind them, maybe 2 to 3 car lengths. That'll put you at ease.
That is good advice, especially about this speed limit, the posted sign there. Let's say a driver is spinning out. What do you do once you've already lost control of your vehicle?
Important thing is to not panic and slam on your brakes. You want to kind of drive into the turn. But we also have a number of winter road driving tips on our website, roads.maryland.gov, all kinds of advice in dealing with winter weather, especially when it comes to driving.
Good advice there. Better, maybe easier said than done, not to panic when you're in that situation. But the snow is supposed to stop tonight. So the cold, though, is here to stay through the weekend. How long do you think it will be until we're going to see some clear roads across the area?
Concern right now is a refreeze. The good thing about these back-to-back storms is we have a lot of residual materials on the roadway from that storm a couple of days ago, and then what we were out today. So that'll help us in clearing the road. So our crews have been out it since midnight last night. They're going to be continuously out at it today. We do ask. We know a lot of people stayed home today. If they get on the roads tomorrow, please clear your vehicle completely, because you could be driving down the road and snow will fall off your car, and that'll create a hazard for the car behind you, and you don't want to do that.
No, that's pretty scary, actually.
Yes.
I've seen that indeed.
Yes.
Well, Shante Felix with the State Highway Administration, thank you for joining us as always.
Thank you for having me.
Well, some of you have been sending in your snow pictures and videos, and we like that. Take a look at this. Jim from Baltimore County sent in this shot of his dog, Taco. We love it. Taco's cute. Little guy has a sweater on, but is still struggling to walk in that snow all the way up to Taco's knees.
His little legs, he has a hard time.
Right?
Yeah. And Vincent sent this in, a video of a fox. Oh my gosh, looking for a place to rest in the snow, took some cover under a bush in the backyard. That's adorable.
That's very cool. And Sin and Morgan are getting outside for some sledding. This is Sin's first time sledding, so wish him luck out there. Good luck, Sin.
Definitely. And we want to see the weather in your area. Scan the QR code right there on your screen. It'll take you to foxbaltimore.com, where you can upload your photos and your videos, and it's all powered by Stackla.
Next month, local private school students and teachers can voluntarily attend a conference discussing LGBTQ plus topics in schools and how to navigate those conversations.
Fox 45's Jeff Abel shares the concerns from some parent advocates as school leaders say it's an important topic to discuss.
At St. Paul's School next month, there's a conference tackling questions which some parents say schools have no business tackling.
When you have teachers, when you have schools who are focusing on this more than they're focusing on getting kids back on track, that is a huge problem.
The school will host a gender and sexual identity conference and will be open to middle and upper school students at Maryland's private schools. Its agenda is still unclear, but in a letter to parents, administrators at St. Paul's called it an affinity space where students who identify as LGBTQ and their allies can share community, support one another, and discuss ways to forge more inclusive school environments.
It is deeply disturbing to see school after school and district after district prioritize pushing an agenda over actually educating their students.
Those are conversations that should be happening at home with parents. Schools are not in charge of driving these conversations.
The conference was first questioned on social media this week, and reaction was swift. It's a cult, wrote one reader. Insanity, wrote another. But another reader wrote, they are private schools. Why do you care?
Parents have to be careful. They have to be involved. They have to know what's going on. They have to know what their school is pushing. And that is regardless if you send your kids to a private school, a charter school, a public school.
Well, fortunately, at least taxpayer dollars aren't going to this. It's still not what's best for kids. It's still not what families want.
This is an annual conference which organizers say sells out to capacity each year. Jeff Abel, Fox 45 News.
This isn't the first time that this issue has been debated in Maryland classrooms. In May of 2022, Hillcrest Elementary School in Catonsville faced some backlash for hiring a non-binary counselor. The school introduced the educator as having they/them pronouns and said one of their passions was normalizing conversations regarding gender identity and inclusion. The announcement drew mixed reactions from parents and experts, with some praising the decision while others argued it could be a distraction.
Now you're going to put something that is potentially very confusing to them, within their school. They feel that these government, state-run schools are taking over their rights to raise their child in the way that parents feel are appropriate.
At the time, critics of the decision called the hiring, quote, indoctrination, something the school pushed back on. Winter weather across the country is grounding planes and causing dangerous conditions. A look at the storm's national impact. And the district attorney and prosecutor in the charge of the Trump election case in Georgia are accused of misconduct. We'll take a look at the claims and how they could impact the case. A Georgia judge overseeing the Donald Trump election interference case has ordered a hearing on accusations against Fani Willis. She's the district attorney behind the case. Willis is accused of having an improper relationship with her lead prosecutor and mishandling taxpayer dollars. National correspondent Janae Bowens has more on the allegations.
The DA mounting a high-profile election interference case against Donald Trump must now face a judge who wants answers about her alleged improper relationship with one of the prosecutors she assigned to the case.
We're dealing ultimately with the integrity of our elections. The integrity of the investigation is absolutely paramount. I mean, avoiding the appearance of impropriety in this investigation and prosecution is probably more important than any other case that's currently pending in the United States.
Fulton County District Attorney Fonnie Willis and Attorney Nathan Wade are accused of carrying on a romantic affair and taking taxpayer-funded trips together. Former federal prosecutor and criminal defense attorney Jorge Vela says the allegations cannot be ignored.
At a minimum, extremely embarrassing and negatively affects the public's perception.
You saw the Fannie Willis. You saw that deal? Her boyfriend, she gave him $1 million to go get Trump.
Former Trump 2020 campaign official Mike Roman has filed a motion to disqualify Willis from the case. Roman faces charges for his role in the fake electors plot in Georgia. In his motion, he says Wade has been paid an estimated almost $1 million in legal fees. He alleges Wade used those taxpayer dollars to take Willis on lavish vacations.
Isn't it them who's playing the race card?
Willis said race fueled her detractors' allegations.
I appointed 3 special counsel, as is my right to do, paid them all the same hourly rate. They only attacked one.
Reports show Willis is now blaming Wade's estranged wife of obstruction too. Willis has not confirmed or denied a romantic relationship with Wade.
Now, does it lead to a disqualification? You know, that's a little bit more of a gray issue.
Willis's hearing set for February 15th. In Washington, Janae Bowens.
Well, it isn't just us getting snow in the area. A series of winter storms are making their way across the country today. On the right side of your screen, this is a live look at what Detroit, Michigan, Mackenzie's home state, and Cincinnati, Ohio, where they're also dealing with snowy conditions. And on the left side of your screen, Buffalo, New York, and other northeastern cities also getting hit by that winter weather. Now, at least 55 people across 10 states have died since last week after multiple storms brought snow and ice to much of the country. Well, the storms are also impacting travel across the country. Take a look at this. A small plane with 7 people on board made an emergency landing in Virginia. According to state police, just before 1 o'clock, the plane successfully touched down on a Loudoun County parkway where cars are normally supposed to be driving. Luckily, no one on the plane or on the ground was hurt.
Right here, big one.
And this is video of emergency crews getting passengers off a flight in Rochester, New York, after that plane slid off the runway during takeoff. No injuries were reported in this incident either, again, thankfully. Well, crews are hard at work making sure that we don't see a similar situation here in Baltimore. These are pictures of some of BWI's snow removal crews working to clear those runways. The airport says it has more than 150 employees and 60 specialized plows working around the clock to remove snow. Well, Fox 45 is still on weather alert tonight as snow falls across Maryland. In fact, some parts of the Baltimore area could see up to 6 inches before this storm completely passes. This is a live look right now at the Inner Harbor, our weather radar, and a look at the roads from the Lynn Stoller mobile track. Meteorologist Jasmine Lomax is here right now with more on what comes next. Jasmine, how was your drive in?
Thanks, Guy. It actually wasn't that bad. The roads seem to be treated well, and that's some good news. However, those conditions on the roadways could quickly change, and that's because of these heavy snow streamers that we're seeing. Now, with these areas, notice the dark blue shading and those skinny lines. We're seeing some heavy snow and also reduced visibility as that heavy snow comes down. Now, those snow streamers could move into the Baltimore metro, and that could change the conditions of roadways. So if you'll be on the roads this evening, even tonight, you certainly want to make sure that you are driving safely and give yourselves ample time to get to your destinations. We remain under this winter storm warning. That's for all of the areas in pink. Around Baltimore, that expires at 10 p.m. and then areas south are looking at a winter weather advisory expiring around 7 p.m. when the snow will gradually start to taper across parts of the state. Right now, our temperatures sit at 31. Not any snow falling over Baltimore right now, but we're not out of the woods just yet. Through early tonight, there is still that chance for a few flurries, and that could add to the snow totals that we've already seen. Temperatures, meanwhile, are in the 20s and the 30s, and the numbers higher than what they're going to be tomorrow as we prepare for a bitter cold day. First, tonight, the temperatures will drop to the teens with wind chills in the single digits. With the cold weather, of course, there is that potential for a refreeze, especially on untreated roads and where we have standing water and slush. Then bridges and overpasses, those are usually the first areas that freeze. So make sure, again, to drive safely, not just tonight, but also tomorrow. We'll have tapering snow through about midnight. Then after that, we stay mostly dry. We'll wake up to plenty of sunshine tomorrow morning and cold temperatures. Then by the afternoon, with more clouds moving in, our highs will only reach the low to mid 20s, but wind chills likely staying in the single digits. If you must be outside, make sure that you're covering your extremities and layering up as we prepare for one of the coldest days this year so far. By Sunday, we'll be back to some higher temperatures above freezing, reaching the low to mid 30s. 18 for the low tonight. Then tomorrow, our highs will only reach 26. Not only is it going to be cold, it will be windy with wind gusts up to 30 miles per hour. That's only going to make it feel much, much colder. We'll start to see a rising trend next week, though. 34 on Sunday, then 38 on Monday, 44 on Tuesday, 46 on Wednesday as we begin to enter a rainy pattern. We'll have the chance for rain on Thursday and again on Friday, but temperatures will be much higher, reaching the low to mid 50s. Kai?
Jasmine, thank you. And remember, anytime snow hits, you can have the up-to-the-minute forecast right at your fingertips. Download the Fox 45 weather app. Search for WBFF in your app store. Coming up at 5 o'clock on Fox 45, the snow didn't stop the March for Life in Washington, D.C. today. How the issue of abortion rights could play a key role in the 2024 elections. And snow, sleet, or freezing rain can't keep the Ravens fans from celebrating their team. Well, the Ravens caravan usually travels around the city, hopping from place to place. Let's see what happened as the snow started falling this Here's a live look at M&T Bank Stadium tonight, where in less than 24 hours, the Ravens will take on the Houston Texans for the right to play in the AFC Championship. Well, today the Ravens and their fans were set to make their way across the city, but the weather kind of forced a change of plans. Mark Clark has details.
So weather may have stopped the Ravens caravan, but we still having fun here at Jimmy's Seafood. I got some Ravens fans who are excited. That's right. What's your name?
My name is Naya.
Naya.
I'm Kyla.
Kyla.
And Mommy Yvonne.
Mom, oh, I thought you were a sister, Mom. Okay, guys, we're excited about now. What's your favorite player? Who's your favorite player?
Jackson, of course.
Lamar Jackson.
Yes. I'm gonna say OBJ. This is so beautiful.
Got the same hairstyle.
I love me some OBJ.
Okay, wait a minute. You can tell the fans are out. The weather may be challenging. It did not stop the party. Again, the Ravens caravan got slowed down because of the weather. Having a great time. Go Ravens. Guys, are you going to, Mom, predict the score? What's the score going to be after Saturday?
Oh my God, I would say at least, I don't know, we're going to be in the high 30s.
The high 30s.
The high 30s.
And we're going to win.
We're going to win, absolutely.
Okay, we're going to win in the high 30s. You heard it from Mom. And I'm telling you, the Ravens destined to win. Again, at Jimmy's Seafood, I'm Mark Clark, Fox 45 News. Let's go Ravens.
Let's go Ravens. And hey, whether you're heading down to M&T Bank Stadium or going to go to the game or watching it from a party or simply hanging out at home, we'd like to see how you're cheering on the team. Scan that QR code on your screen. That will take you to our website, foxbaltimore.com, where you can upload both your pictures and videos, all powered by Stackler. Jasmine.
Thanks, Kai. We are weather alert as we continue to deal with snow moving across our state. But after the snow clears, it's the cold that we are focused on. First, overnight, our temperatures drop to the teens. We're looking at 18 by about 8 a.m. and the numbers only rise to the mid-20s. Be prepared and layer up if you're going to the game. By Sunday, temperatures will be slightly higher. Coming up, we'll have a closer look at what to expect this weekend and into next week and my full forecast in about 20 minutes.
All right, Jasmine, thank you. Coming up on Fox 45 News at 5 o'clock, our weather team coverage continues. We'll have the latest from our crews in the field, tracking the snow in Baltimore, Rogers Forge, Carroll County, and beyond. And the Legislative Black Caucus in Maryland holds off on changing juvenile justice laws. The governor has said he supports change. We press state leaders for answers on how they plan to get youth crime under control.
Another round of winter weather hitting the region. Fox 45 News is tracking the system as it moves through and the impacts it could have this weekend as the Ravens gear up for their playoff matchup.
Here in Fells Point, people digging out and bars and restaurants gearing up for the big game.
After a years-long snow drought, kids in the county are making up for lost time. Here at Rogers Forge, we are bringing you a live look at these stellar sledding conditions.
Live from WBFF in Baltimore, this is Fox 45 News at 5.
As we come on the air at 5 o'clock, Fox 45 News is on weather alert as we see our second big snowfall of the year. This is a live look across the area. Now, the snow seems to have stopped for the most part, although some areas are seeing up to 6 inches. This system has prompted a winter warning through 10 o'clock tonight. Thank you for joining us. I'm Kai Jackson.
And I'm Mackenzie Frost. As this storm wraps up this evening, we are tracking a blustery start to the weekend with strong wind gusts and wind chills in the teens tomorrow, just in time for that Ravens playoff game. Baltimore City will be under a code blue extreme cold alert through Monday morning. The city health department is reminding people to drink plenty of fluids and remember to check on those who are most vulnerable, like children and the elderly. And if it's too cold for you to be outside, it's also too cold for your pets. Remember to bring them inside.
And Fox 45 News has extensive live team coverage. Our team of reporters weathering the conditions to bring you the very latest across the region.
Let's begin with meteorologist Jasmine Lomax with a look at when this system will move out and what we can expect for the big football weekend. Jasmine?
Thanks, Mackenzie and Kai. Right now, we're actually seeing a pocket of dry weather right over Baltimore. But if you notice on the other side of that pocket, you can see some dark blue. Those are snow streamers where we're seeing some heavy snowfall and reduced visibility. So yes, we are mostly dry around the city right now, but we're not in the clear just yet. Those snow streamers are continuing to move to the southeast, and that means still the chance for some snow, potentially heavy at times, as we continue this evening and into the early night. Now, once the snow does taper, we are looking at a drier forecast for the rest of the weekend. We remain under this winter storm warning. That's for all of the areas in pink. It expires at 10 p.m. for the Baltimore area. Then south, a winter weather advisory expiring at 7 p.m. Even after the snow clears, we're still going to have winter weather. In terms of our temperatures, we are in for a very, very cold day. Now, obviously cold enough to snow today, but tomorrow with Arctic high pressure, we're looking at temperatures around 20 to even 40 degrees below average across the region. I'll let you know how cold it will be and what to expect if you're heading to the Ravens game in my Weather Authority forecast. Kai and Mackenzie.
Jasmine, thank you. And as temperatures drop, warming shelters are available in Baltimore. According to the Mayor's Office of Homeless Services, shelters are open through February 14th, anytime temperatures drop below 32 degrees. If you're looking for help in the city, you can call 443-984-9540 for referrals.
Taking another live look over the Inner Harbor tonight, many businesses in Baltimore welcoming the snow, staying open throughout the day. Fox 45's Alexa Ashwell continues our live team coverage from Fells Point with the conditions there and how business owners are braving this storm. Alexa?
Mackenzie, good evening from a snow-covered Broadway Square, completely covered. For those who are unaware, Broadway Square is really the heart of Fells Point, surrounded by shops, businesses, restaurants, and bars. All day we've watched as owners have worked hard, Waterfront Partnership, to clear these sidewalks and streets. And just to get an idea of the amount of snow that we're dealing with here, just look at the bench now. All day, people have been hard at work clearing the sidewalks and the streets. You can see gearing up for the Ravens game, the wind there whipping through that Ravens flag. And what we're also starting to see and deal with now is this slush, particularly where the sidewalk meets the cobblestone, something you'll certainly want to be mindful of if you plan to step out tonight. Shovels.
I'm trying to keep up with it.
And buckets of salt.
Since last night, we've been pre-treating stuff.
Bar and restaurant owners here in Fells Point have been hard at work clearing the snow and slush. Cooper's Tavern even has blankets on standby for those who want to brave the cold. The blankets, of course, Ravens purple,
ahead of Saturday's playoff game.
And really just looking to bring out a good Baltimore vibe, snowy weather. I think there's going to be a lot of out-of-towners in Baltimore, particularly Fells.
Some of those out-of-towners already here for tomorrow's game, and thankful they beat any flight delays.
We heard our friends are getting stuck in Houston, so we're glad we're here. We weren't expecting it to be snowing like this as much. We were expecting the cold. We brought our gear, but we were not expecting the snow to be this way.
But those who call Baltimore home, even a little surprised, but not deterred by the weather.
Big Ravens fan, and I'm excited. Hopefully we get to win.
Are you going to the game?
No.
Could you imagine in this weather?
I would go in the snow. I wouldn't go because it's too cold. It's going to be really cold.
Cold, but the excitement brewing.
Grab a bite to eat, get some drinks, stay warm, because it's going to be a fun weekend.
And of course, we want to be mindful on the roads and on foot of the potential refreeze or the freeze of those slick areas. And Kai and Mackenzie, I'm going to need some backup down here because we're starting to see more and more Texan fans here in Fells Point. I'll send it back to you guys in the studio.
Alexa, stand by. Mackenzie and I are on the way. You're in safe hands here. Well, schools across Maryland, as you know, were closed today, meaning a snow day for the kids. Everybody loved that. My daughter certainly did. Rebecca Pryor continues our live team coverage from Rogers Forge, where people were taking advantage of the snow day. And while we were in this little interim time, I did some investigating and found out Rebecca might actually slide down that hill.
Well, I was considering it, Kai. But you know and I know that we made a bet and I had asked how much would you pay me and you said $5. And in this economy, I did consider it. However, you know, I don't know if my pride and my dignity, I think it's worth more than $5. So instead, I'm going to leave it up to the pros here and they are going to send it away and show us how it's done. Woo! This is what they've been doing all day long.
Ensuring residents steer clear of icy roads and slick sidewalks. Schools, several small businesses, and government buildings all shut down, leaving the hills at Rogers Forge wide open.
Well, I found him on Monday when the flakes started coming down in shorts and a t-shirt on our back porch going, I've missed this.
Finally, a proper snow day.
You made it, finally. I kind of felt sad. Because there wasn't enough snow to sled.
I think it was 2 years ago.
It's been so long, he's 10. I could not bring him inside to eat.
A years-long snow day drought sending Baltimore County sledders out in droves. Some in packs, others with a sole purpose.
I prefer snowboarding because it's more like thrilling.
The need for speed.
It was amazing.
Just for this week, how many hours have you been out this week? 19 hours and 7 minutes, this child. I swear he has slept and eaten.
Making up for lost time, there's not a moment to waste.
What worries me sometimes is when they say, oh, we're going to go virtual if we have too many snow days. I'm like, this? You're going to take this away?
But not to worry.
You're never cold, are you?
This year,
there's something that's really important about that rite of passage.
These core childhood memories not slipping away.
He has been deprived, and he was like, I'm not stopping. It may never happen again.
Okay, Kai, I've been convinced. This is for you. This is for the kids. My friend Evelyn here, she's been out all day. How long did you say you were going to be out tonight, Evelyn? A million years. I'm going to do this one time and one time only. Okay, everybody ready? Say, reporting live for Fox 45 News. Oh God, it's like riding a bike. It's like riding a bike.
Oh my gosh, that was perfect, Rebecca. Wonderful, wonderful job. You did it for the kids and everyone is grateful. Thank you, thank you, thank you. If you went sledding like Rebecca and all of those new friends that she made, or maybe built a snowman or even had a snowball fight, we want to see it. Scan the QR code right there on your screen. It'll take you to foxbaltimore.com where you can upload your photos and videos, and it's all powered by Stackla.
And you can wake up tomorrow morning with Fox 45 Morning News as we track that freezing weather. Great job out there, Rebecca. We appreciate you. Meteorologist Amy Aronson has your full forecast starting at 7 a.m.
As pressure mounts to make changes to curb juvenile crime in Maryland, the Legislative Black Caucus says it will defend the current juvenile justice laws. Tonight, we're pressing Governor Wes Moore to find out if he will push for changes.
The Legislative Black Caucus of Maryland is pleased to present its 2024 priority agenda.
The Legislative Black Caucus standing by Maryland's juvenile justice laws, especially the Interrogation Act.
We believe that legislation is a critical bill, and we will defend that legislation this session.
State Senator Jill Carter, a Democrat from Baltimore City, is also one of the architects of the juvenile justice reform in Maryland, and she remains adamantly against making significant changes to the Interrogation Act.
I'll listen to the arguments, but I don't think that there's any need to have them in person.
But we've heard from several states' attorneys in Maryland saying the laws are hindering public safety efforts.
What we're realizing when we talk to young people is that young people, the juveniles, know there's nothing that we can do.
We can't charge them. I mean, essentially, if they are found to have committed the crime, the police just have to drive them home. I mean, that's really all we can do.
Juvenile crime continues to dominate the conversation in the General Assembly. Lawmakers raising constitutional concerns if current interrogation laws are changed.
The Legislative Black Caucus last year in the Maryland General Assembly passed really important foundational legislation to make sure that children in our communities are not interrogated without their constitutional rights of being able to ensure that they have access to an attorney.
Well, prosecutors push back on that notion.
Our youth deserve extra protections. I'm not against giving them extra protections, but we have to act in ways that promote the public safety consistent with those extra protections.
But what lawmakers will do to find a solution remains elusive.
Public safety is our administration's top priority.
Governor Wes Moore rolling out his crime strategy before lawmakers started session.
We've announced an all-of-the-above approach to public safety,
but did not include specific juvenile crime plans in that package. When asked what he wants to see, the governor short on specifics.
a hallmark of what I hope to see in any juvenile justice legislation that's going to make it to my desk can be summarized in one word: accountability.
But did indicate one area of support.
We need to think seriously about lengthening probation for juveniles guilty of gun crimes.
Friday, after the comments from the Legislative Black Caucus,
this Black Caucus will protect our recent policies and laws related to the juvenile justice.
We sent questions to Governor Moore's office asking, does he believe there needs to be changes made to the Interrogation Act? Does he still believe the length of probation should be extended? Does he support the Legislative Black Caucus while it says it will defend the current juvenile justice laws? The governor's team not directly answering the questions, instead saying, quote, Governor Moore is committed to working with the General Assembly to carefully review and address the state's juvenile justice laws. Meanwhile, the pressure continues to build for lawmakers in Annapolis to do something about juvenile crime as prosecutors ring the alarm about what's at stake.
We can only hope that they'll not listen to just folks like me or my 23 colleagues across the state who are the chief prosecutors in our counties, but hopefully they'll listen to their citizens, because their citizens are saying the exact same thing. Enough's enough.
Urging lawmakers that this session is critical.
We can't wait forever because this is too big an issue that needs to be fixed.
Everybody is saying we must do something. And right now, the legislature, we're looking at you because you have the power to do something to make this right.
And that brings us to our question of the day. Should the Legislative Black Caucus push for juvenile justice reform? To make your voice heard, head to foxbaltimore.com/vote.
Well, still ahead, our weather alert coverage continues right now as we see our second major snow of the year. We break down those conditions hour by hour.
And we are so close to playoff football in Baltimore. Just one more sleep until the Ravens take on the Texans in the divisional round. Well, players are saying ahead of the game. That's coming up next.
Taking a live look at M&T Bank Stadium tonight, anticipation is building. You can feel it as the Ravens gear up for their playoff matchup against the Houston Texans tomorrow right here in Baltimore. If you're heading out to the game, you better bundle up because it is going to be very cold. We have team coverage tonight getting you prepared to cheer on the Ravens. Meteorologist Jasmine Lomax is breaking down the game day forecast, letting you know what conditions you should be prepared for if you're heading out to M&T Bank Stadium. Fox 45's Vincent Hill is in our Len Stoller mobile track monitoring the current road conditions ahead of the game. But let's begin with Rocco DeSangro. He joins us live here in the studio previewing tomorrow's big matchup. Rocco?
Yeah, I just hope they have the heat on in the press box tomorrow, Mackenzie. Guys, if you haven't seen the Ravens official hype video, do yourselves a favor, watch it, and then go find a brick wall, and you're going to want to run through it. M&T Bank Stadium will be rocking with the Ravens hosting their first playoff game since 2019. That was the last time this team had the #1 seed. Of course, this year's team looking for a much different result. Lamar Jackson talked about how antsy he was on Tuesday, so you can imagine how QB1 feels. Today, the Ravens, they held a Friday walkthrough closed to the media, dotting their I's and crossing their T's ahead of the divisional round showdown with the Texans. John Harbaugh confident the work his guys have put in the last 2 weeks have led to what they're about to do.
They've been like they've been all season. It hasn't really been different. They've, it's definitely playoff football. They're definitely excited about that. But that's how they've approached their work all year.
Got 2 games to get to the Super Bowl. We're looking forward to it. Next was the biggest of the season. They don't do them to get bigger from here, and we need to win. We at home.
Yeah, I'm ready to play. That's all it is. Just not overly anxious, just cool, calm, collected, just ready to go out there, just do what we've been doing all year.
I feel good. I feel very confident in the work we put in, and making sure everyone was still on top of their game, making sure they're in good form, and we didn't waste this week at all.
Mark Andrews was listed as questionable for Saturday's game. The Ravens did not activate him from injured reserve for the divisional round. If the Ravens do win, though, there's a chance at an Andrews return, but one game at a time.
We remain weather alert this evening as snow continues to push across the state. We're seeing a dry pocket over Baltimore. However, as we look immediately to our west, we see some heavy snowfall, some thin lines of that heavy snowfall right now. One of those bands right over I-70, and that's leading to heavy snow and also reduced visibility. Some of those snow streamers could continue to move into the Baltimore metro this evening and into the early night. So we're not done with the snowfall just yet. Make sure that if you will be on the roads, you're driving safely. We remain under a winter storm warning. That's for all of the areas in pink, and that expires at 10 p.m. tonight. We also have a winter weather advisory in place for all of the spots in purple. That expires at 7 p.m. when we'll start to see that snow taper around much of the state. Meanwhile, temperatures are at 30 over Baltimore with mostly cloudy skies, a little breezy, and that's leading to a wind chill in the low 20s. However, it's nothing compared to how cold it's going to be tomorrow. We're seeing temperatures in the 20s and 30s across the state, so bundle up if you're heading out tonight. Overnight, numbers will fall to the teens. However, wind chills will be in the single digits as we prepare for a bitter cold night and a bitter cold day tomorrow. Taking a look at some of our wind chill values, we're looking at those numbers starting off tomorrow morning in the low single digits and possibly below 0 for some other spots. Then as we continue into the afternoon, the numbers barely above 5 degrees. As we head to about 4 p.m. and right around the time of kickoff for the Ravens game, we're looking at wind chills between 5-7 degrees. It is going to be just bitter cold outside. And not only that, it's going to be a little windy. That's only going to make it feel worse, especially with gusts up to 30 miles per hour. Continuing into Sunday, we'll start to see some higher numbers. High temperatures will return to above freezing as we get ready for a warming trend throughout the week. 18 for the low temperature tonight. Snow will taper, and by midnight will be mostly dry around the state. 26 for the high tomorrow. That is well below average for this time of year. It's followed by 34 on Sunday, 38 on Monday, and then we're talking the 40s and above average temperatures for the remainder of the week. We're looking at 46 with the next chance for rain on Wednesday. We'll enter a rainy pattern continuing through the end of the work week, but it will be warmer with highs in the low to mid 50s. Mackenzie?
All right, Jasmine, thanks. Let's take a live look at our traffic cameras across the region. Roadways are mostly clear at this hour, but the dropping temperatures overnight could cause some major freezing in some areas. Fox 45's Vincent Hill is live on our Len Stoller mobile track tonight. Vince, how are the conditions where you are? Looks like it's getting dark out and the roads could get a little icy.
Yeah, Mackenzie, that's exactly right. So we're out in Cockeysville near Falls Road, and the road really just opened back up within the last 10 minutes because there was a wreck here by the icy conditions. Baltimore County Police were out. There was a tow truck out. An SUV had crashed off the road. It was just a one-car accident. And ironically, I don't know if you can tell by this shot, but that's actually a snowplow truck on the back of the tow truck. They've been working hard pretty much all day trying to clear the roads here in Baltimore County, and this truck just gave out on the side of the road. Again, conditions are really getting slick now as these temperatures start to drop. We've already seen one wreck. We've already seen a few people kind of sliding and losing control of their cars. As it gets darker, as it gets colder, these conditions are only going to get worse. So be careful if you need to get out on the roads. If you don't, stay home. For now, I'll send it back to you, Mackenzie.
All right, Vince, thanks. Stay safe out there, you guys. And there's an easy way to track your snowplows to see when they'll make it to your neighborhood. The State Highway Administration has a tracking page on its website. That means you can track where the plows are and how long it will be until they get to your house. You can also see where they've been. Anytime snow hits, you can have up-to-the-minute forecast right at your fingertips. Download the Fox 45 Weather Authority app. Just search WBFF in your app store to get started.
Will the abortion issue help or hurt Republicans in 2024? I'm Kayla Gaskins at this year's March for Life rally, and we'll hear some takes coming up.
Taking a live look from Washington, D.C. tonight, where thousands gathered today for the 51st annual March for Life. Abortion is poised to be a contentious issue at the state, local, and national level elections in 2024. National correspondent Kayla Gaskins reports.
The marchers came from all over the United States. Where did you guys come here from?
Denver, Colorado.
Turning the less than ideal weather conditions into a symbol of their movement's resilience.
It's exciting to be here. It's really cold, and look at all these people.
There were politicians, priests, and celebrities. Michigan head coach Jim Harbaugh making an appearance fresh off winning the National College Football Championship. Anti-abortion supporters scored a major win when the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade, but the issue is far from settled.
As soon as that was overturned, everyone decided to come after us, and so it's more important than ever to keep sticking up for life.
We're just getting started. This is only the beginning.
Notably absent from Friday's event, any sign of pro-abortion rights counter-protesters. Democrats aiming to position abortion access as a top topic for 2024, perceiving it as a political weak spot for Republicans.
The Democrats have found their voice. They have made this top priority. Our guys, not so much. The abortion issue can really advantage our candidates if they step up and say the right things.
Marjorie Dannenfelser with Susan B. Anthony Pro-Life says they would support a 12 to 15-week federal abortion ban.
I want to save every baby, and so does the pro-life movement wants to save every baby. But we know that that's not how democracy works.
This week, Florida Senator Marco Rubio laying out a three-step strategy for Republicans to win over voters on abortion. That includes pushing a pro-family agenda, extending the child tax credit, and guaranteed paid parental leave.
Marco Rubio's plan has my 100% endorsement. It makes me wish he was running.
Data shows most Americans don't support unlimited access for abortion. A new poll by the Knights of Columbus reports 2/3 of Americans support at least some level of government-imposed abortion restrictions. On the National Mall, I'm Kayla Gaskins. The trial for the murder of Pavel Lepere, sentencing for a firefighter's killing, and the other high-profile cases are headed to court this year. The city state's attorney's office is laying out the priorities for 2024. Plus, the snow is moving out, but we are still tracking some blustery conditions tomorrow. Our weather authority team is breaking down the forecast hour by hour.
Fox 45 is tracking severe winter weather. This is a live look across the Baltimore area. Some light snow still falling at the Inner Harbor and also Towson.
Meantime, we're tracking the storm on our weather radar and the conditions on the Beltway tonight. Let's get out to Fox 45's Vincent Hill and our Len Stoller mobile track. Vince, still looks about a little darker, a little perhaps icier out there.
Yeah, a little darker and definitely a lot more slippery. We are still in Baltimore County approaching Interstate 83, and again, we've seen a couple of cars sliding off the road, and we actually witnessed one accident in Cockeysville. Luckily, it was a one-car accident and no one was hurt, but again, as these temperatures drop, as daylight goes away, all of this will essentially freeze over, making driving very treacherous. So, you know, I can't stress enough, if you don't need to be out, you see there's a lot of cars out right now, likely people getting off work. But if you don't need to be out, it's best to stay indoors and get ready for the game tomorrow. For now, I'll send it back to you.
All right, Vince, thanks. Viewers have been sending us pictures of the winter road conditions in their communities. Snow accumulating on streets from downtown Baltimore to Middle River and beyond.
You had a good point earlier. It just seemed like we did a better job of hitting those roads this time.
It seemed like
and
it.
I guess the texture of the snow was slightly different this time as well.
Yeah, it seemed like it at least.
Yeah, well, with the snow on the road, highway officials are warning drivers, however, to stay safe.
We're joined now by Shante Felix from the Maryland State Highway Administration. Thank you so much for joining us again.
Good evening.
Yeah, Shante, and I guess you heard what Mackenzie and I were talking about. Mackenzie pointed out that it seemed like you guys were in a better position to kind of attack those roads. And do you think the type of snow, the type of precipitation was slightly different for this storm?
It's an impact. And again, we were able to get ahead of this from that storm a couple of days ago where we had already had treatment on the roadways. So that acted as a pre-treatment for this one. So when we went out today, it wasn't as much trouble as there would have been if there was no pre-treatment on the roadway.
Well, the efforts did not go unnoticed, that is for sure. Yeah. So tell us, are there any trouble spots right now that people should be aware of as they perhaps head home from work or consider whether they want to brave the roads later tonight?
So we always hope that people will be able to stay indoors in weather like this. But if they can't, we tell them to take extra caution on overpasses and bridges, because those are the areas that freeze first. Please leave plenty of room between your vehicle and our equipment, at least 2 to 3 car lengths. We also have a good device on our website, roads.maryland.gov. If you click on storm, you can see where we've treated roadways in your area and as you navigate going out or staying in.
That is a great tool. I'll have to check that out when I get home for sure. Do you expect much of a refreeze overnight, especially as the temperatures continue to drop?
Concern is a refreeze. That's why we're working overnight. We're still in emergency operations mode, getting reports from our crews on an hourly basis. So yes, we're still at it.
Still at it, for sure. Well, thank you for that.
All right, Shante Felix, thank you again for joining us. Have a safe weekend. And again, we've said it before, but I'm going to continue saying it whenever we talk with you. Thank you to you and all of the crew members who get out here and clear these roads and do their best to keep Marylanders safe. We truly appreciate you and their hard work. We do.
Yeah, take care.
Absolutely. As the crews are working to clear the roads, it's important to remember people need to clear off their entire cars.
Yeah, you
can't. The tops, the windshields, everything. It needs to go when you're scraping off your vehicle.
You don't have those sheets of ice flying back on somebody, because it can be dangerous.
And you know, another good point too is to remember to make sure to brush off your headlights, because that could be blocked and then you're
so
a
you
hazard.
Can see, right? Yeah, and people can see you.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right, and I'll get off the soapbox about winter weather
it's a good
driving.
Soapbox to be on.
But let's talk about what the weather will continue to look like. Meteorologist Jasmine Lomax, tell us what we're in store for tonight.
Thanks, Mackenzie and Kai. We're still seeing some of that snow around the state, but notice the coverage a little bit lower right now. We have a dry pocket over Baltimore, but right to our west, we're seeing a pocket of heavy snow leading to some reduced visibility. That snow could continue to push toward the south and east over the next couple hours. So if you will be on the roadways, please make sure that you're driving safely. If you come to any standing water, note that it may have already frozen over. So you really want to make sure that you're driving safely. Around our area, some of the highest totals that we've seen have been in Howard County, Jessup at 5.4 inches as of 4:30 p.m. Also Eldersburg around 5 inches. Then as we continue down, some totals really between about 3 and 5 inches around our area. When we combine this with the snow that we saw just a few days ago, the snow depth is around 6 inches. So certainly some impacts. Now, as we head into the night, we are going to dry out, but the cold really starts to move in and have an impact on our forecast. Coming up, I'll have a closer look at the timing of the snow and just how cold it will feel over the weekend in my Weather Authority forecast. Kyle McKenzie.
Jasmine, thank you. Well, heading out to Carroll County right now, crews have been working hard to keep those roads cleared there since early this morning.
Absolutely. Fox 45's Jessica Babb is live for us in Westminster, showing us where things stand out there.
Monday night when I was driving through the Westminster area, the roads were pretty hairy and slick, and I saw many people spinning out on the roads. But today it's been a different story, and that's largely because public works crews have been out on the roads since 2 a.m. salting and plowing. The major roads are taken care of and cleared, but even smaller neighborhood roads like this one are also clear, helping people stay safe and enjoy their snow day.
Actually, just came down from the hill up there, and yeah, this thing covered me. It's a lot of powder out here, actually, surprisingly.
Being covered in snow, a sign of a successful snow day. With sledders scheming, planning their plunge.
When you're going down, you have to go multiple times so you can pack it up.
These guys got off, and I figured I might as well take them out because this is the perfect time to do it. Not many people are out today.
Definitely a lot more snow, and then my dad and my husband, they all plow.
Public works crews making sure people can have fun safely. People plowing 84 routes throughout the county.
In the last week, couple days when they plowed, they were out for over 24 hours, but today hopefully they won't be as bad.
The roads honestly have been great, even during the last wave of snow that we had.
Even though things are looking really good right now and the roads are clear, we cannot say it enough. If you are going to be out on the roads with freezing temps into tonight, you're going to want to stay really, really cautious and watch out for ice. Jessica Babb, Fox 45 News.
Jessica, thank you. Whether it's sledding, building a snowman, or going to the Ravens game, frostbite is a threat for anyone trying to enjoy the winter weather. This morning, we spoke with a local doctor about the warning signs and what you can do to stop it.
The two things to look out for are discoloration and pain. As you move from mild to severe frostbite, you start off with kind of reddish skin. It becomes pale and waxy as the frostbite progresses, and then it can become blackened or purple. The most commonly exposed areas are the ones that get frostbite. So your earlobes, your cheeks, nose, chin, fingers, and toes. So hats all the way that cover the ears, mittens are better than gloves, and then water resistant and warm boots, socks, layers of clothing.
If you do get frostbite, the keys are catching it early. Warm water baths can help the skin heal in less severe cases.
Now, some of you have been sending in your snow pictures, and we do appreciate it. Take a look at this. This is Jim from Baltimore County sending in this picture of his dog, Taco. Taco's a cutie. Little guy has a sweater. You like that sweater, Mackenzie?
Yeah.
But Taco's kind of struggling to walk through that snow because Taco is small.
Can relate. Can relate. We want to see your weather photos and what's happening outside your door. Scan the QR code right there on your screen. It'll take you to foxbaltimore.com where you can upload your photos and videos, and it's all powered by Stackla.
Turning now to our Friday focus, we're highlighting accomplishments happening inside the city state's attorney's office.
Yeah, the focus this week is on a list of high-profile cases headed to court this year. Fox 45's Rebecca Pryor shares a timeline of important trials and sentencings that will soon take place.
Hoping to turn last year's charges into this year's convictions. Deputy State's Attorney Angela Galliano breaking down Baltimore's most highly anticipated cases heading to court in 2024.
So we have a lot of high-profile cases that are coming up. Most notably is the defendant Jason Billingsley, who is charged with the murder of Pavel Lapierre.
Billingsley charged with brutally beating the 26-year-old tech CEO on the roof of her apartment. A year before the slaying, the convicted sex offender released years early from prison on good behavior. Billingsley's trial scheduled for March 3rd. But before that, on February 6th, Jewel Crowder, set to stand trial for allegedly shooting and killing off-duty Howard County Sheriff Ryan Denby in Federal Hill. Then on April 22nd, Roger Mendoza will stand trial for allegedly shooting and killing 16-year-old Isaiah Carter at a playground next to Patterson High School.
Mr. Mendoza actually fled to Texas after the murder of that 16-year-old victim, but we had him extradited back to Maryland, and he will stand trial for that murder.
In all three cases, the state seeking first-degree murder convictions. Meanwhile, several prior convictions also heading to court this year. On January 26, Daniel Green to be sentenced for the killing of a volunteer firefighter. Police say Green shot John Hickey in the head as he slept in his Upper Fells apartment. On March 11th, Isaiah Daniels to be sentenced for the killing of a 17-year-old Moreau High School student. Police say Daniels shot Jeremiah Brogdon just as school was letting out. And on March 28th, Trayvon Shaw to be sentenced for the killing of Justin Johnson. Police say Johnson, a father of 5, was sitting in his car in Yale Heights when he was shot. Shaw was also charged for the ambush killing of a Baltimore police officer, Keona Hawley. Both victims were killed on the same day. Now, Shaw's trial for Hawley's murder will start on the same day as his looming sentencing for Johnson's murder. Rebecca Pryor, Fox 45 News.
Well, winter weather across the country is grounding planes and causing dangerous conditions out there. We'll take a look at the storm's national impact.
A woman beaten with a gun so severely, investigators say it caused the weapon to fire. I'm Alexa Ashwell. The search for this man, that's tonight on Maryland's Most Wanted.